The problem we chose to solve is water pollution. Water pollution has begun to be very bad for our society. Water is extremely vulnerable to pollution, which is why we call water a universal solvent. Toxic substances from farms, towns, and factories readily dissolve and mix with it, causing water pollution. Heavy metals from industrial processes can accumulate in nearby lakes and rivers. These are toxic to marine life, such as fish and shellfish, and can affect the rest of the food chain. Chemicals in our water can also affect our health. These are all examples of negative effects on our health created by pollution.
Our invention are based off of manta rays and basking sharks, but we're mostly focusing on manta rays. Manta rays are considered to be a filter-feeding species because their fins on the front of their bodies allow themselves to funnel the water containing food particles. Manta rays also have modified gill rakers to filter the food from the water. The food particles then ricochet off the lobes back into their mouth. The advantages of this are, first, repelling the particles instead of trapping them, meaning that the system is resistant to clogging. Secondly, it enables the manta ray to capture prey that is smaller than the gaps in the gill raker.
Our project mimics the manta ray's gills and the mouth by the slits in the cup right here. And the cup also represents the shape of the mouth, which is like an oval shape. And another thing our project mimics is that the way it filters the trash through it.
Our project emulates a natural process by representing a manta ray and basking shark and the way they filter their food. On the inside of these sea creatures' mouths, there are gills that filter their food. Floating cocoa nets, in turn, filter the trash that is carelessly thrown into our rivers. Our project filters trash through the cocoa nets so we can collect it at the end of the rivers before it is released into the ocean. Another way our design emulates the manta ray and basking shark is the shape of the basking shark and manta ray's head. This imitates the larger part of the floating cocoa net, or for our design, the big cup.
By making our ocean pollution-free, it would save people's and animals' lives. For example, if people stopped throwing plastic rings used for soda cans into rivers, turtles wouldn't get their necks caught in them. Another example is when animals consume the toxins from the plastic. This can come back to harm us humans because we consume fish and other ocean life, which can be harmful towards our bodies and our health. Pollution is a very serious issue that people should start to take more seriously.
Our project takes sustainability into account because it is never a bad idea to have pollution-free oceans for our future generations. It is improving many ways. We are collecting trash now by providing natural filtration instead of using machines to collect the trash. And the way it moves through the water will also not spread the trash around even more because there is nothing to push the device around with.
Through this project, we had our ups and downs. The main struggle we experienced was coming up with an idea and cutting slits in the cups. But besides that, we had a major breakthrough when we found out about the Pacific Gyre and got inspired to create something to clean up the trash. The Pacific Gyre is the largest ecosystem on Earth and roughly measures 20 million square kilometers. It was very surprising for us to hear that the largest ecosystem on our planet was a huge trash bed. We very much struggled at first to find a project that inspired us and jump-started our creativity. We found the floating cocoa nets, which seems like an amazing sustainable way to limit the trash going into the ocean. When it was time to create our model, we thought cups would be the easiest and most efficient way of showing this device. We slightly struggled with making the slits in the cups, but it became easier as we went along.
What we would like our audience to take away from this is to be more careful about what we put into our rivers, because eventually it would lead out into the ocean and cause horrible pollution, which affects the animals living in the oceans. Because of this, the toxins from the plastic get consumed by the sea animals and will soon affect us. This would affect us, again, because we eat seafood and those toxins from the animals would get transferred into our bodies. To help get rid of pollution, us as humans need to be more aware of what happens when trash goes into our rivers. Our invention, the floating cocoa nets, would trap the trash at the end of the river before it reaches the ocean. To help stop this from happening, we all need to make sure our trash is going into the trash and recycling bins only, not our ocean.
I told my mom and dad about our project.
I told our grandparents.
I told my uncle, who is a biologist, about our project, and he thought it was a really good idea and that it could really help improve our society.
This is our invention, the floating cocoa net.
If the trash is in the river floating towards the cocoa net, it would pick it up.
Obviously, in the river, the stream and the flow of the river would pick up the trash.